And we're back with game 3 here between Glacial, Omen, and Prismatic Esports. What a series it's been. Both teams taking a win here. Prismatic taking game 1, Glacial Omen taking game 2, and it wasn't a cakewalk for either of these teams because they're both firing back non-stop. And now in game 3, we've got Glacial Omen on the blue side this game, and Prismatic Esports on the red side here. Glacial Omen banning out the Olaf, Graves, Garen set, and interestingly enough this time, Rek'Sai. So they've seen what Prismatic have to offer, and they've decided the Olaf and Garen are the two biggest problems. The set was annoying as well, and so they'll take that one out of the picture. Prismatic banning out the Irelia as expected. Zero Zen becoming a monster last game with that. The Volibear and the Vladimir, of course, also for Ishan, who just hard carried, or not say hard carried, but destroyed in those team fights, winning a lot of them with that Hemoplague amplification. The Morgana and Tryndamere bans also coming up from Prismatic, so interesting bans here. Now in terms of picks, Omen is keeping with their sort of AoE, their compositional draft. They've drafted a Jarvan, Galio, Misfortune, Cassiopeia, and Wukong, and I'm really liking this draft here. They've got plenty of early game, they've got amazing mid game, and they've got some late game insurance for themselves here, so definitely liking it. And on the side of Prismatic, they picked the Darius, Ashe, Braum, Echo, and sorry, that's not a Corki, that is a Pantheon last pick. So Darius, Ashe, Braum, Echo, and Pantheon. Bit more mixed feelings about this composition here from the side of Prismatic. They do again have really strong early game. Darius should be able to manhandle Wukong in that top lane as well. They are drafting once again, it looks like, for a lot of lane dominance, and I think it's a huge risk here they're taking, especially that Pantheon into Cassiopeia for Mickey Mouse against Ishan. He's going to have to smash this one early because Pantheon falls off hard and is an extremely binary champion. Either he smashes lane or smashes the early game, pardon me, or he just becomes absolutely, utterly useless and nothing more than a glorified siege minion, or super minion, not even a siege minion. He doesn't even have range. And Matsi not picking the Hecarim, slightly disappointing here. I did really like his Hecarim play. Is opting for the Echo, and that's where a lot of Prismatic's composition is going to revolve around him making action, getting gangs off throughout the map, because if they do not absolutely crush the laning phase, they're going to walk into a mid game where you've got a Jarvan with the Misfortune, the Wukong and Cassiopeia. All of these are great in team fights. If you try and initiate, you got to run through a taunt from the Galio as well as the Petrifying Gaze from Cassiopeia, and Zero Zen on that Wukong can always just pop everyone up as well, trying to run into them. And for engage, they have sent knockup from the Wukong as well as Chaotic Up sitting on the Jarvan. We've seen him play it before, not afraid to engage at all. I believe he did play damage the last time, but he can afford to go tank with this composition here because they only have the one real tank coming out of Galio. He can build a tank Jarvan and just initiate with impunity to set up for some amazing Petrifying Gazes, pardon me, or the bullet times coming out from Twice Zhongyeon. And I do see that Prismatic did try and pick the Ashe away. They picked in their first rotation, denying it from Twice Zhongyeon, but I have to wonder if that was a mistake potentially, as I think the Misfortune is going to be a much bigger threat here than the Ashe would have been in this composition. The teams are loading here onto the Rifts. It being a third game, I am not expecting to see an invade, but we are seeing pings actually coming down both towards the top side of the map here. Yeah, it doesn't look like they will actually invade because it's a little risky to entrust the third game. The winner takes all game to a level 1 kerfuffle here. Ward will get dropped right away. Will spot out the bulk of Glacial. Omen here it's kind of transitioning in, but they did send Ishan down to that bot side to ward up and make sure he gets some vision down. But Glacial Open getting spotted out every step of the way here. They don't know that they've been spotted, and they're just going to keep running in. They have to be careful. They might get collapsed in on by 5. And now Dark Prince there. So amusing caught out as well. We are going to see Chaotic Obsidian potentially go down here. That's first blood. Twice Zhongyeon soon to follow. That's 2 kills already here. First blood going over to the Darius, and they're going to pick up a third onto Willowhaven. Maybe even a fourth, because now Zero Zen is getting caught out. Can it be the NA Fiesta? And he baits the flash out of just storming into the Baron pit here. He gets at least that much up, but he's going to give it over to So Amusing there. And this is just going to be a nightmare, especially in this top lane for Zero Zen, because there's 2 kills, 2 assists onto Just Storming here, and he went back to base, picked himself up boots as well as a longsword here. My goodness, Prismatic off to a flying start for themselves. And just to prove me wrong, the casters, because just as I said that the teams would not want to level 1 fight, Glacial Omen goes ahead and proves me wrong. Overstaying their welcome there in the jungle. First Blood did also go over to Just Storming, so there's a lot of gold in that top side. We're already seeing more than 1,000 gold difference, about 1,700 gold difference right off the bat here, just getting into the lanes. That's going to be an absolute nightmare here, and that did give Dark Prince a pink ward as well as some pot, so we'll have a ton of sustain as well as some vision. Now mid lane, Mickey Mouse taking advantage of the boots that he managed to buy as well, aggressively going in onto Ishan, and this is what he needs to do. Top and mid here for Prismatic need to establish dominance and just absolutely crush them. And interestingly to note, Mickey Mouse going with that electrocute here, opting not to go Conqueror in that mid lane. Conqueror has been a little bit nerfed, and one of the people who would struggle a little bit with it is Pantheon here, is a spellcaster, so would have problems stacking 12 instead of 10 stacks. So he did go electrocute instead for the burst damage, but he is now getting collapsed on by Chaotic Obsidian. I say he's getting collapsed on, but he's turning the tides, and it's Chaotic Obsidian now being brought extremely low here. Has to be careful when Matsi is potentially going into the jungle. Might meet up here. Does find Chaotic Obsidian. Can he find the kill? No, the flag and drag going to bring Chaotic Obsidian to safety. Top lane, we did have a glimpse of Zero Zen just getting trained down as well in that top lane by Just Storming, which is completely to be expected with that 2-0-2 Darius start. And now bot lane, so amusing, firing back. They do actually manage to win that trade that Willowhaven and Twice Jonghyun started up here. And just all the lanes looking like it's going the way of Prismatic right now. The silver lining to this though is, at least for the side of Glacial Omen, they just need to survive. As long as they can hit that mid game and look for these full 3v3s and up, 3v3, 4v4, 5v5, they can start coming back and winning, because their composition is significantly better than Prismatic's. But that is a big if, because we saw what happened in game 1 here. And now Zero Zen getting collapsed on by Just Storming. Can he get the pull? Yes, he can. And we might see Zero Zen going down again. He does have the flash available. The bleeds are being procced. He's turning back, doing a lot of damage here. He actually finds the shutdown somehow. Great bush play from him, just walking in and out to deny vision. And he finds the solo kill there. The minions doing a bunch of damage as well. And that is a huge start for himself. Ishan, though, will not be as fortunate as Matsi able to find him there, and the flash will not be able to save him. That's going to be another kill going over the way of Prismatic. They fire back, so team-wide, no major leads, but top lane-wise, that is a huge advantage right now. And if Zero Zen could pull that off before he's even gone back to base to buy any items, what can he do now that he's got time to spend that gold, including the shutdown gold he got, the 150 from Just Storming? He's going to pick himself up a Phage, it looks like, and run back to the lane. Compare that to Just Storming with the Ninja Tabbies. Does mean that Zero Zen will have to fight. He will not be able to run away, and if Just Storming initiates, he will have to go in. But with that bush play he did that if he continues to do that, I have no doubt that he will be able to close this lead in the top lane in short order here. And in the bot lane, surprisingly so amusing, and Dark Prince not really winning out this one. A little surprising considering the lead they had, but MF is a much stronger early game champion here than the what was it we saw before in game 1. Can't quite bring it to mind right now. And top lane, we do see the fight coming out as well from Zero Zen. Is fully bleeding, does have to be careful here, especially as Just Storming is approaching level 6. If he does manage to get that level 6, he can look for the execute, the dunks right away onto Zero Zen. And Zero Zen has been playing it kind of close right now, and you can't afford to do that against a Darius when he's hit 6. But Zero Zen's the first one to hit 6. He's got it there. The dunk gets interrupted, it looked like, by the knockup. I've not seen that interaction before, but that is definitely a a rough one here for Just Storming, because he can't get the dunk off if the top begins spinning early there. So Zerozan able to find himself another solo kill, and that should have pretty much evened up the top lane there. So really good from him. The blast cone being taken over, the dragon being done right now from Prismatic. They're just trying to zone off Willowhaven and Twice Jongyeon for now. They are taking a lot of damage for it, but they do manage to secure themselves the Ocean Drake, and that's the big first Drake here. Will continue to compound their lead for Prismatic. And we've actually not seen a ton of action out of the junglers so far from Matsi and Chaotic. Just a gank thrown into the mid lane from both of them here. Matsi might once more have to go to that top lane though, because Zero Zen is starting to find his own leads, and it's not like those are extended duels up top or a lot of poke where the Ocean Drake can regenerate a lot of that. It's a lot of all-ins right now, so will not be as useful bot lane. The flash taunt will not quite manage to hold So Amusing long enough. The flash though does get burnt to keep him alive, and Chaotic Obsidian once more coming up empty-handed here, following his attempt into the bot lane. Beautiful Petrifying Gaze will stop the stun, but the Ignite comes down and might be enough here to find Ishan. Yes, it is. That's going to be another kill going Mickey Mouse's way, and that's exactly what he needs to do. Needs to continue doing that. Does have the Grand Skyfall available. It is on cooldown currently, but he does have it unlocked right now, so he can look to snowball into different lanes. And Chaotic Obsidian right now, I think the furthest behind in the game, only just hit level 5. So he was behind even the duo lane of So Amusing and Dark Prince. And that does not bode well for him, because he will need to be the primary initiate for his team in a lot of these team fights. If he's not ahead enough to be able to survive the initiates, his team's going to have problems winning these mid-game team fights. And Glacial Omen actually has done an amazing job continuing to keep the gold gap just under 2,000 here after that, because coming into lanes there, they were already almost down, like almost 1,500 gold down right off the bat. So the fact that the lead has not snowballed further for Prismatic is saying a lot about the laning abilities here from Glacial Omen. As the bot lanes are beginning to hit 6, this is the time where we're expecting to see more skirmishing, more action happen. The dragon is down for the next 2.5 minutes here, so perhaps something near the top lane or near the mid lane might break out here, because a lot of ultimates, a lot of teamfight ultimates, pardon me, on the side of Glacial Omen. The taunt comes down, the bullet time coming across, the Unbreakable stopping all of it, but at what cost? Because Dark Prince might block the damage from So Amusing. He still has to take the damage though, and he ends up going down in that bot lane. Indeed, level 6, the volatile point for both teams here. And Twice Jongyeon starting to get some of that damage, get some of the rewards, pardon me, for the damage he's putting out top lane. Zero Zen somehow finding himself a level lead here onto Just Storming, and now Chaotic Obsidian is level 6, is going to look for something. Let's get the flag and drag to knock up Just Storming, and the dunks begin coming down, but no one was low enough, and that's going to be Just Storming down once again. He flashed away, but I think that was a wasted flash, because there's no way he was getting out of that one there, and they give that one over to Chaotic Obsidian, which is going to be huge for him to try and come back into the game here. And it's Glacial Omens putting on the moves now that they've hit 6. Glad to see that, but it's Prismatic who absolutely needs the heroic entrance coming down, but a flash from Mickey Mouse will stop the stun from going in. Really well played, but he's left Jongyeon alone in that bot lane right now, and he's got to do 1v2. They're going to lose a plate for that, but it will at least keep Ishan alive for now, and Ishan's starting to get zoned out a little bit by Mickey Mouse here, and Matsi looking to potentially gank as well. Top lane, we do see Just Storming using that Ghost on cooldown, pretty much hunting Zero Zen, but will not be able to find him, and Zero Zen going to be able to go back to base safely. Does have the teleport available. Mid lane, that dive there, that was a solo kill from Mickey Mouse. Matsi did not get any credit on that one. And Ishan now struggling. We saw him play so well on the Cassiopeia in game 1 here. Was the bright spot for his team as the rest of his team was sort of falling down around his ears here. But here in game 3, he is not having a good time at all. And Mickey Mouse making good on that Pantheon pick. Top lane, Zero Zen and Just Storming fighting once again, but they do have to be careful. Instead, it's bot lane, the Glacial Fissure coming across. But so amusing, not really wanting to follow up on that, it looks like. Will, in the end, just back out there. And that's both ultimates in that bot lane expended for really nothing much at all. And the Herald is going to go over Matsi's way there. I was going to comment how Matsi and Mickey Mouse were in the area, so Just Storming could have looked to bait Zero Zen in a little bit there. Prismatic, I love their focus here on the objectives. They do so well to get that. They get themselves that first Drake, they get themselves the Herald, and right away you can see them heading down towards that Inferno as well. They don't want to give this one up, but they do have to be careful. Scuttle is taken. Now Matsi getting caught out a little bit. Bullet Time comes across, but he does the damage onto Matsi. Won't force the Chrono Break. The Cataclysm coming across. Matsi able to dash himself back out, and as we feared, Chaotic Obsidian is going to go down early in this fight. Not tanky enough, but it is enough for Jungyeon to clean up. They find So Amusing, they find Dark Prince, and they get Matsi low, so they are going to be able to start this Drake up for themselves here, despite Matsi still being alive. With Smite, it is not currently available, but Glacial Omen don't know that, but they're pretty confident they'll be able to just burst Matsi down if he shows up here. And with that, the second Drake Inferno gonna go the way of Glacial Omen here. And with that, they've actually closed the gold gap, and they're pretty much even, and they've negated the initial debacle they had in the jungle there. And once again, the knockup, but the interaction there, it does seem to be a little spaghetti in that top lane. The dunk actually does go down despite the knockup going off there. So, not a reliable counter to the Noxian guillotine there in the top lane. But Zero Zen does manage to get out safely for now. And it's been brought to my attention by Zero Zen himself that the first time it looks like the cancel was not actually the knockup. It was actually him dropping vision in that amazing bush play he pulled off. So it comes down to the bush play. It is not actually the knockup from the ultimate doing that. You do get a bit of the knockup animation, but the Noxian guillotine will still go through there. So thank you, Zero Zen, for clarifying that for me. Interesting interaction. Good to know. It looks like he's taking that to account because he's still dodging out a lot of these deaths, and now he's back in lane. He's going to go in aggressively onto Just Storm, but it has to be careful because Matsi is in the area. Will not find anything. Instead, in the bot lane, we see the Glacial Fissure come out as they're looking for Willowhaven. Will not be able to find him, and it's going to be Chaotic Obsidian now showing up. Can he find it? He does not have Cataclysm available, so he's just going to show himself. Force the disengage there from Prismatic Esports. Keep his bot lane safe for now. And Prismatic right now is trying to fire back, but they're just having problems, and this does not bode well for them. As you can see, Glacial Omen right now in their laning phase can close the lead just through their laning. So the longer you give them these isolated laning phases, aside from the mid lane, the longer they can sort of extend their leads here, and their composition as well is going to be stronger than the side of Prismatic Esports. Prismatic has a lot of individually strong champions, but that's not what you want to see in the late game. Now the knockup coming to damage as well from Zero Zen, the secondary knockup. The Noxian guillotine coming down, and the bleed is strong right now. Will be enough to pick up Zero Zen. It doesn't look like it. He's going to be okay, but that did force the flash out of Zero Zen, and Just Storming could potentially just look to flash and kill now. Mickey Mouse showing up in that bot lane, but the heroic entrance from Willowhaven to disengage for now. Can they find anything? The Cataclysm comes down, but Dark Prince so patient on that flash. Held it till the Cataclysm came down, instantly flashed away, and nothing gonna happen in that bot lane despite everybody throwing their attention down there. And that was a 4v3 top lane. Matsi gonna drop the Herald now, which they did pick up into that top lane. They're looking to get themselves the first turret of the game here. Probably unnecessary to pick this one up. And they do manage to take it down before Shelly gets a charge off. So that means Shelly will still have full health, will be able to be escorted into the second turret here. And Zero Zen is coming back full health with the Trinity Force completed right now. Will get a bit of damage onto Matsi. Instead, they're going to return fire with about 60% of that top lane inner turret's health here. And Prismatic trying to grow their lead a little bit. And with the pace of the game right now, I am fully expecting to see Glacial Omen just take over all the fights at any post 30-minute mark. As of right now, though, it is a bit of a 50-50 if they can set up a huge fight. We've not seen any real 4v4s. That bot lane 4v3 here was sort of a disengaged fight, a fadeaway here from Prismatic, so we didn't get to see that huge team fight. Now Dark Prince will take up a turret shot. We see the teleport coming down, and it's going to be Ishan's teleport here. They've grounded Braum, and we're going to see Dark Prince just get shredded down. A kill going over to Glacial Omen. But they've left that mid lane open for Mickey Mouse here. He can just push this in. He's got the Grand Skyfall as well to rejoin any fight. Ishan gonna run back into the mid lane here. Does still have the Petrifying Gaze, and he's got Chaotic Obsidian with him as well. The failed flash from Mickey Mouse as the flag and drag comes across is gonna seal his fate there. And that's gonna be a shutdown from Ishan. A 300 gold bounty bot lane. They do manage to find that turret, but it's going to be Matsi coming in to return fire here. He did manage to take twice Jonghyun down. Is he going to be able to take Willowhaven? No, he will not. Willowhaven too tanky, surprisingly. Has not built that many items, but just able to ignore a lot of that damage. Galio not known as an MR tank for no reason here. And now we do see So Amusing getting burst a little bit, but Ishan was so low on health, he ended up going down, and now Chaotic Obsidian trying to survive. The Glacial Fissure misses there. The 200 IQ play from Chaotic Obsidian to keep on running and not try and dodge means that he does get out to safety in top lane. Zero Zen did manage to find a kill. Matsi just diving that turret there. The flash, skip, and a hop able to find Chaotic Obsidian, and that's going to delay anything that he can do. Do get a little bit of poke damage onto that mid lane outer turret, but it will not really amount to anything as Willowhaven and Twice Jonghyun are back to defend that one. But top lane Zero Zen finds a solo kill there, as well as the top lane outer turret. And Glacial Omen just shy of the lead right now, dead even in terms of gold against Prismatic Esports. But Matsi, with that laser focus on objective, do manage to pick up their second Drake of the game. It's going to be Cloud Drake here for themselves, and that's going to be cooldown reduction. And while it's going to be great for the side of Prismatic Esports, it's even better in that it denies it from Glacial Omen, because Glacial Omen's composition does rely extremely heavily on those ultimates, the bullet time, the Cataclysm, the Petrifying Gaze, all these components here, the Wukong knockup as well, the Cyclone there. All of these huge AoE ultimates would benefit a ton from being able to stack that cooldown reduction. So just denying it from them is going to be huge for Prismatic, and they need to continue doing that. Unfortunately for them, though, that is the Drake of the map here. So even if they deny one, they have to consistently deny them, or Glacial Omen could stack 3 and get that 30% cooldown reduction. Now Ishan and Mickey Mouse transitioning to that bot lane. And we do see Glacial Omen instantly just grabbing up the Herald for themselves here. The first Herald was taken by Prismatic and used a great effect in the top lane there. So we'll have to see how what Glacial Omen can find with theirs. And Mickey Mouse in that bot lane did find the outer turret. Ishan has to be extremely careful in the long lanes because Mickey Mouse seems to have his number right now, so does not want to get caught out with somebody against somebody with that Yomu's blade there who can just seek to run him down. And we have a bit of a siege situation here in the mid lane. Both teams just really poking, trying to stop backing as well here. And if a fight were to break up right now, I think it would probably go Glacial Omen's way because they're fairly even in gold. In terms of items here, Zero Zen ahead a little bit in that top lane. In terms of jungle, it's actually Matsi winning out. Has completed his Proto Belt compared to Chaotic Obsidian there, but Chaotic Obsidian really just needs to get that Cataclysm, the Flag and Drag, the Initiate for his team. Anything else he can do for now is just a bonus in the mid lane. The Serap's Embrace fully stacked here actually for Ishan, so that's going to be a huge damage boost, and in a team fight he's going to be able to do more than a Pantheon can. And if we look at the ADCs, this is where a lot of the difference is going to come out. The Yomu's Ghostblade, the lethality build for Twice Jonghyun is going to be really strong in the early game, especially since not a lot of armor has been built. So Amusing has built the Essence Reaver, and looks like he's going to go for a Triforce as well, so that's the Poke Ash build here. And that means in an extended team fight, Twice Jonghyun actually will probably be the stronger of the two early with that bullet time. We do see Enchanted Crystal Arrow coming out, but it lands on Willowhaven, not who you wanted to see. And the bullet time comes across, the Unbreakable stopping the bulk of it. But Ishan is in, he finds So Amusing. They find Dark Prince as well, and now it's going to be Mickey Mouse dropping in only to drop right back out Matsy getting burst down. He did use the chrono break. It wasn't enough. Can the dunks find anything here? Just Storming able to find 1 kill, but that's all he gets. The bleed won't be able to pick up Ishan as well. And that's a 2 for 5. A 3 for 5, pardon me. An ace here. Clean for Glacial Omen. They've got Shelly pushing as well. They've got a minion wave. They've got the outer turret, and they should be able to pick the inner one up. No problem as well. And that's what I was talking about with Glacial Omen. Their composition is starting to come online, and they're going to be able to win these fights. The Unbreakable is a solid counter bullet time, but it will not be enough. And Shelly getting a second turret off a third turret really on that push. They cracked the inhibitor turret as well. That's going to be absolutely massive. Now the Grand Starfall coming across. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow will be able to find Chaotic Obsidian, and he's going to get burst down there. Youmuu's Ghost Bait being popped. Mickey Mouse is out on the hunt looking for Zero Zen. That will not be able to find him though. And the kill score now did even 15 to 15 here, as Prismatic will not go quietly into the night. Just such big plays here from both teams. Glacial Omen is aware of their win condition, has shown that they can execute it extremely well here. Granted, it was a little bit messy, and they did dive a turret, but that was a 4v4 really initially, but ended up expanding into a 5v5 under turret, and Glacial Omen still managed to win that one. It looks like Prismatic possibly setting up a death push here. I don't think they have enough vision to do it. No, they ended up just backing out, taking the scuttle there, and they're going to set themselves up for the next Drake. Once again, I know I said it earlier, but I'll say it again. I really appreciate the focus here from the side of Prismatic on their objectives, because objectives help to win games, and the longer they can deny these Drakes from Glacial Omen, the better it is. Not to mention, if they do end up actually getting the soul, it will be huge for them. Chaotic Obsidian potentially getting pinched here. Will be able to drag himself out. And the red buff ultimately going to go Matsy's way, but that means he has to wait for his smite to come up. If they start this one up right away the way they have, I'm not sure it will be available in time. Glacial going in, and yeah, it's going to be Chaotic stealing this one. As expected, there was no smite available for Matsy. He came up just a split second too late there. The bullet time coming across to add damage. They will trade Chaotic Obsidian's life for it, but if you're a Glacial Omen, that's more than worth it. A 30-second death chamber for a permanent 10% cooldown reduction on ultimates, worth. And despite the strength here of Glacial Omen's composition, a lot of that is going to be loaded into the mid game here. We see Zero Zen finding Mickey Mouse, looking for the 1v1. He's going to pop the Youmuu's, look to find safety, but a flash and a dash will see him get taken down. And that's going to be the flash down for both Mickey Mouse and Zero Zen as well. But Zero Zen, very, very mobile champion. Might not need it quite as much on that Wukong. Can still use his dash to get into backline. And it looks like Twice Jonghyun and Willowhaven walking past that pink ward there. They did see it. Okay, we see Willowhaven trying to clear up, but they were looking for something more. And now Matsy and Dark Prince have to be careful. They're getting real deep here. Are we going to get the Cyclone? Yes, we are. And Enchanted Crystal Arrow will come across. Will find Jonghyun, but he hasn't started the bullet time yet, so it won't be as effective. He might apply it here potentially. Soul Music extremely low. Will flash over though. Bullet time finally comes out. It took forever, but it does find Matsy. It does find Dark Prince as well. And that's going to be a 3-0 here for Glacial Omen in these choke points. Their composition is now, I can say it, fully online here. And in pretty much any of these team fights, Prismatic will not win anything, whether it be on open ground or in these choke points here. That bullet time, the radius is wide enough to catch everybody, and they will pick up the Baron for themselves. Glacial Omen only 19 to 16 and only 4,000 up after that Baron buff, but they are way in the lead in terms of team fighting right now. And with this Baron buff, they will easily be able to push in here. They've got the exposed inhibitor in the mid lane. They've got standing gold, the inner turrets for both the side lanes here. It's really a question of what they want to do, and they have plenty of teleports here. I did say in the beginning of the game, Prismatic Esports are focused on the early game. They took 0 teleports. They do have the Grand Skyfall from Mickey Mouse at least, but they will have problems matching a 1-3-1 if Zero Zen and Ishan split push here with their teleports on the side. And we have seen the side of Glacial Omen go back and buy their items, looking to extend their leads a little bit, making sure they all checked out their items. But Chaotic Obsidian Flag and Dragging into an Enchanted Crystal Arrow might go down here. So amusing, actually. Gonna drop first, and we do see Chaotic Obsidian finally go down. That's a 1-for-1 trade, and now Mickey Mouse potentially looking for something here. Will have to be careful though, because Ishan is slithering his way up from that bot lane, and it does become a 3v3. I could very well see Glacial Omen winning this one here. But for Prismatic, any kill they can get, if they trade even, is actually to their advantage, because that's another Baron buff they're taking out. And they actually do manage to find Jung Yon there. He overstepped a little too far there. Will get shredded down, but Ishan pumping out the damage. They find two. Top lane, Zero Zen finds Just Storming once again. And now Dark Prince flashing his way to safety. Will be able to get out. But will it be enough? So Abusing has respawned. It's going to be a 2v3 defense right now. And Zero Zen pushing in that top side. We see So Amusing putting the damage, but that's Zero Zen you're onto. He might not be on an Irelia this time, but he doesn't need to be, because Wukong can still pump out the damage, has the Death's Dance, and the Death's Dance nerfs did not touch melee champions. So Zero Zen still able to pump out lots of damage. Will find So Amusing, will find the mid lane inhibitor as well as the top lane inhibitor, and Ishan getting the inner turret here in the bot side as well. Glacial Omen was given an inch, now they're taking the whole foot. We do see the damage coming down onto that inhibitor turret as well. It is gonna go down right here. Matsi going in, but he walks right into the middle of a cycle and will get taken down before he can even chrono break. And we could see the end of the game right here. Ishan is online. He's 8, 5, and 7 right now. Just shredding anybody who gets CC. The Cataclysm came down as well to lock up Just Storming there. He's dead. Now they're on to Mickey Mouse and Dark Prince. Can they find them? No, because they are focused on the Nexus turrets, which is the point here. And they get the Nexus. That's game. 28 minutes and change here. Glacial Omen coming back and winning this best of 3. Well played to them. And unfortunately for Prismatic, they're left winless still, looking for that first win of their of the league for them here. And Glacial Omen just adapting so well in the from the first game through. You see their adaptations here. In game 1, they failed to drop an early game. In game 2, they just pop off from that top lane. Game 3 here, yes, Zero Zen did pop off, but it was a much greater team effort here. All their lanes doing extremely well. Ishan the only one to struggle a little bit in laning phase, but he scaled right back into the late game here with that Rylai's, with that Morelos, and the Sarah's Embrace as well. He ends the game sitting with a 700 gold bounty along with Zero Zen. And they're just looking at like a really, really solid team for themselves right now. And on the side of Prismatic, it's not like they had like they just gave up and died either. In game 2, the scores look bad because of the way Zero Zen just took over the game and roamed everywhere. But here, we're seeing much better scorelines. 5, 8, and 3 for Just Storming. 5, 4, and 7 for Matsi. 5, 4, and 2 for Mickey Mouse. And 3, 4, and 8 for So Amusing. So definitely a much better game across the board. That being said, in that top lane for Prismatic right now, Just Storming, he had an amazing game 1 where he just wrecked everybody, but in games 2 and games 3 he certainly had problems, and I'm really not sure what they can do here for Prismatic, whether they just need to save him his later picks, because he first picked the Darius in this game, and that definitely did not really work out for him, because that Wukong was a counter pick from Zero Zen. He had the option of waiting and seeing how he wanted to do things, and maybe save it for later, or maybe they need to spend more attention to that top lane, or maybe even just give Just Storming, get him to take teleport, so that when he loses lane, he can lose it more gracefully in a way, because while the Ignite and the Ghosts help when you're ahead, if you're behind, they are of much more questionable use. And with that, the Demacian League is done for this week here, and the standings can be updated. Unfortunately, Prismatic still sitting at last place, still looking for wins for themselves, and Glacial Omen here is sitting in 4th place at the end of the week, but it's a very, very close 4th place, and it's tied with SFAD, pardon me, only 1 point behind War Mother's Children and Imagine Wagons. And speaking of them, they will be facing against War Mother's Children next week, so that will be their chance to climb into 2nd, and Prismatic running into Imagine Wagons as well. So will look to try and be able to pick up their first win in the regular season, because next week is the last week of the regular seasons as well before we head into playoffs here. And with that, and ending the entire week on one of the best series this week so far, I want to thank you all for tuning in and watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys on Friday with the live stream. So see you all then.